Education Director here at Mercer Botanic Gardens. Today we're doing Lunch and Learn, and we just reopened this building from Harvey in January. So this building has been here since the 80s, but it got a major facelift after Harvey, so welcome. I wanted to thank the Mercer Society, our nonprofit, for sponsoring today's program. And they're actually having a huge plant sale this weekend. It's the second largest plant sale, and it's also a festival. So it's going to be this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring your wagons. We run out, like many plant sales do, we run out of wagons fast. So if you have a wagon or a wheelbarrow, go ahead and bring it. But it's a lot of fun. We have free face painting for the kids. There's going to be programs, and I've got some information on the programs and also the times on the table. They do have a list of all the plants online, so if you're a shopper that likes to do lists, go online and make your list, and it will be here on Saturday for you. KIMBERLY is the Director of Garden Education for Urban Harvest. It's a nonprofit organization that focuses on community gardening programming, farmers markets, gardening classes, and youth education in Houston. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from the Metropolitan State University of Denver and a master's degree in agriculture from Texas A&M Kingsville. Kim has worked for the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office with the Better Living for Texans program and for Prairie View A&M as an agricultural cooperative extension agent here in Harris County. She prides herself on improving the lives of Houstonians to increase access to healthy living options and building resources to tackle the area's pervasive food insecurity problems in underserved communities. And I think in the Houston area, we do have 30 food deserts in Houston alone. So it is something to pay attention to. In today's Lunch and Learn program, Kim will introduce us to the wonderful world of herb gardening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Kim Perry.
Here I am today. Thank you for having me. As she had mentioned, I have my master's degree from Texas A&M. I worked at the agriculture agent for Prairie View, working with farmers, growing food for everybody. So after COVID, I decided I wanted a little bit of change. The university system is wonderful, but change is slow. And I was like, okay, well, what if something happens to me tomorrow? What do I want my legacy to be? So I left my very secure job and jumped over to a small nonprofit, which is a little less secure, but it feels good to the heart. So with that being said, I started off with Urban Harvest as the Food Access Director, working within those underserved communities. They just received a large grant to take a mobile market food truck to those underserved communities. So our largest farmers market, which is the largest one in Houston, Texas, we have about 100 farmers there. Those farmers we purchase from, we load up our little van, and then we drive it around to different communities. We also have a SNAP program, and that means any Lone Star recipients can take that money and double it at our farmers market. So we give them $1 per dollar match, only on fruits and vegetables, no junk food, and they're able to make a shirt. So that being said, and I guess I should mention I'm a Harris County Master Gardener, retired. What does that mean? It just means they have a great title, y'all. Other than that, it's just volunteering. So after 5 years, you can retire, and I opted to retire because this job keeps me hopping. So today we're going to talk about herbs. Can I see anyone who, anybody who grows herbs already? A few, looks like all of you guys. So can I see the hands of any, what should I say, basic herb growing folks? Okay, all right. Okay, you guys are gonna make this hard for me. So we'll do this If you could hold your questions to the end, then I'll answer your questions. If we don't get to them all, my email address is in the back of the slides, just to make sure we kind of get through it all. So this is fresh and that's dried. And when you harvest, you want to harvest the petals. Which are, I wonder if this guy has a little clicker. No. So the petals are right here. And in the center, they have the seeds. If you boil the whole thing down, it kind of gets thick and it creates a pectin type of situation as you boil it. Now, it's not jelly, it's more of a jam. And after that, when you sweeten it, it turns more into a syrup. But it's absolutely delicious. One of the things you have to look out for is it tells you the germination is 61% from this pack of seeds. So that means out of the seeds you purchase, maybe 60% are viable, the other 40% may not germinate. So the fresher the seeds, the better for this particular variety. And of course, that's with many different seeds. So you want to check and say, how old are those seeds? Okay. So research shows sorrel can help to reduce high blood pressure, cholesterol, and improves the functioning of the liver, the red caplets are rich sources of antioxidants, and the leaves are also edible. The leaves kind of have a citrusy, almost lemony flavor. So when we're in the schools, I have all my schools grow this particular plant so the kiddos can taste it and they love it. And they also harvest and pull off the little calyx and eat those as well. All right. So the seeds have a high level of protein and can also relieve cough, boils, and abscesses. It's also used as a diuretic and can help reduce excess fluid in the body and serve as toxic to reduce body weakness. It can also be used as a laxative, and if taken daily, can help in weight loss. Now, I'm guessing this is in its natural state. So whatever I passed around, if you were to boil that and use that. Now, if you add a bunch of sugar to it, which you almost have to because it's that bitter, it's more of a drink sort of deal. But, you know, a little honey can go a long way. So research indicates that sorrel can be used to treat certain types of cancer as well. All right. Next is chamomile, and this is not a picture of chamomile. It looks similar, but not quite what we're looking for. Now this is what chamomile looks like in my yard. So you can see it's more of elongated, yellow. It has a wonderful scent, and the flavor is kind of like a green apple. So chamomile is one of the world's most valued and loved teas and can be dried and stored with ease. Any questions? I've got us on. Okay. All right. So it promotes sleep and treats insomnia. It boosts immunity, treats colds, reduces muscle spasms and periods, soothes stomach aches, treats cuts, wounds, skin conditions, and reduces stress. So I love it. It only grows maybe a foot to a foot and a half. Doesn't take up a lot of real estate. Doesn't spread. As the season changes, it does kind of get that powdery mildew on that particular plant. The other ones that I've passed around, insects pretty much don't mess with them. I mean, they are good and firm. All right. So chamomile is also one of the common names. It's called ground apple. It's an annual that acts like a perennial if you let it reseed itself. There are many different types of chamomile. The two most popular chamomile are German chamomile, and that's the scientific genus. As an annual, that can grow up to 2 feet, and Roman chamomile. But you all are going to grow what type? German chamomile. All right, German chamomile grows from seed if planted in the spring, and in the fall if using the plant. Not so much the same as it was, especially as the weather is changing. It easily handles our winter and our summers. That's when it starts to get the powdery mildew. All right, guys. So rosemary. Who grows rosemary? Oh, everybody. And if you don't, grow rosemary. So do you know that there are 2 major types of rosemary? Can anyone tell me?
Upright and cross.
Exactly. I don't know if you need to be in the basic class. Just playing. But yes, but the upright, people use them to grill with. You can put your potatoes or your meat or different things like that on there. Upright and crossbred. Yeah. All right, so for this particular class, this is the specific one we're talking about, and that is the taller chamomile. It's a perennial that does not grow well from seed. So I did not bring you any rosemary seeds, although you see it. The rule of thumb usually is the smaller the seed, the more difficult it is to get that to germinate. And some things just take long to germinate, like pepper plants. If you want peppers for the spring, you're gonna start them in December and hope and pray over them a lot. So rosemary is good for indoor container gardening. Some of the flowers are blue, white, pink blossoms. The flowers taste like rosemary, so they're edible as well. This plant attracts bees. The oil is used in teas and medicines. Says it's an insect repellent. I haven't seen that yet. I don't know. So my favorite is definitely ginger. And I think it's made it back to the table. So it's a perennial with specialized roots. And I use my ginger for everything. I mean, I just grate it up and toss it in stir fry, toss it in soup. I make tea with it. So add the boiling water, a little bit of honey, a little bit of lemon. It's really good for this time of year. Ginger does require a rich, well-drained, sandy soil, okay? Or she will rot out the bulb, which I've done just by accident. Too much compost even. It's like, this is too soggy. So that's out of all of the ones we've talked about, I'd say ginger is probably a little bit more challenging, more so even than lavender. Because lavender is just a plug and play. You just put it in there, remember to water it every now and again, and it'll do its thing. So it's used in landscapes and attractive for urban gardens. Turmeric has a little bit prettier leaves, more fat. They're in the same family, but it has nice big fat leaves. This is not a very attractive little guy, you know. But you know, if you're growing it for use, then you know, who cares? All right. So culinary, you can add it to different things. If you're making a ginger beer, you can put that in there. And excellent for soothing common cold and flu symptoms and things of that nature. All right, so this is turmeric. Does anyone grow turmeric? One person, 2 people? I tell you what, I keep promising myself that I'm going to grow turmeric. And then I'll buy it, and I'll forget to plant it or something, or I'll plant it and I'll say, man, I haven't used that turmeric in like a year. I find that I just don't use it as much, but it has so many health benefits. When you're growing for bulbs and things of that nature, you want to make sure not to plant them in our soil. I find they do better in pots, or if you really, really have a raised bed garden. Because remember, you're trying to get that, you're trying to harvest this guy. And if it's in a clay soil, it often becomes misshapen or doesn't form correctly. All right. So turmeric. Turmeric is a perennial with specialized roots. It's used in landscape and it's attractive. It has those nice, big, beautiful leaves. Culinary uses for spices, curries, chilies, stews. It's a good antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It's good for lowering cholesterol. Historically, it's been used to treat liver and gallbladder disorders. But cilantro, what I love is you plant it now, and then in the spring it goes to seed, and that is
Coriander.
Coriander, yes. Has anyone tasted the difference between the green and the brown seeds? So when you catch them and they're fresh and you have these green seeds, it's like a bright citrusy flavor. You use that more for fish. You can use it on chicken. But the darker, the coriander has more of a stronger flavor. So you're using that with soups and stews and things like that. Cilantro is also used in salsa. I've seen it in teas, of course, essential oils. All parts of the plant are edible, but leaves and seeds are more commonly used. Like this big 8-foot giant towards the end of the season. If we get a mild winter, it will overwinter and continue to grow. If not, it will die each year. In order to get that tree out of your yard, you're gonna have to fight with it. So plant it somewhere where you can tug and pull. You don't wanna put it next to something that you love, and then you're gonna end up digging up the whole thing. But this is a superfood, and it helps. I'm gonna just name a few of the things. 92 nutrients, 48 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatories, 9 essential amino acids, 18 amino acids, and it helps with all these things. So I was telling my sister, Colorado in your face, because you can't grow this there, but you can grow it here. So it helps with blood pressure, anti-depression, immunity, system, your immune system, and all sorts of things. You can use the leaves fresh, or you can harvest them and let them dry. Put them in your smoothie, turn them into powder. It's just a really easy to grow plant from seed or from plant, and it doesn't really care about the soil being gumbo soil. It is not picky at all. It just doesn't fit. All right. So again, the moringa is a fast-growing perennial. It's native to India. Tree used in landscaping that can reach 35 feet tall. That has got to be in the wild. I have not seen that. It's an excellent source of vitamin A, C, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatories. Culinary use, I suppose you can add it in salads. It does have I don't love it fresh, but in a smoothie or something like that works. You can, of course, have it in tea, soups, stews. Grows well as a potted plant, not as tall though. Well, I guess it depends on how big your pot is. But just in a little pot like that, probably about 5 feet tall. So it grows well. in ground, mild winters will survive.
Okay guys, so we had class at the Mercer Visitor Center, and so we finished our class, and I figured I would bring y'all on out here because some of y'all may never have been here. Now this is in Spring, Texas, or the little outskirts of Humble. So if you're close to this area, they do offer different classes. I will post their link down in the description so that you can come out here to the classes they have. This was a free class that I came to today.